What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope all you had a great weekend. Hope all the mothers out there had a great Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, of course, to all the moms out there. Getting into this episode of GH, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. Definitely enjoyed the Chet and Terry date scenes. I enjoyed the hell out of that. They had some real conversations, because Chet, I felt like Chet and Terry were being totally honest with each other. And I like that they opened up, because he was nervous about telling her about his prosthetic legs and stuff like that, and she was nervous about telling him that she was a transgender, she was a trans woman, and I'm glad that they cleared the air on both those things, and they both didn't reject each other, because I can see how Chet would feel that way, because he admitted that he's been rejected by women in the past because of his legs. She's been rejected by men in the past because she's trans, you know, um, and I'm glad that neither one has that issue with each other. Like they're going into this situation with both eyes open, which I think is great. Their date seemed fun. It seemed very authentic. The chemistry is definitely there. I really wish that we could see more of them, instead of seeing them every like once a month or something like that, because I really want to see more. Um, and I'm glad that they're going on a second date. Um, it was funny because when they were talking about the hospital stuff, Chet was like, "Oh, my sister works at the same hospital," and she was like, "Oh, what's your sister name or whatever?" She mentioned the last name Driscoll, and he was like, "Oh, that's my last name." She said Amy Driscoll. The look on her face when she realized Amy and Chet were siblings, I was like, "Yeah, they're siblings, Terry. You got to deal with that foolishness now." Because Amy was running around ranting and raving about Terry or whatever because she mad because she can't get a day off from work and whatnot. I'm like, well, you're in the medical profession. You're a nurse. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you have to work double, sometimes you have to work triple. It is what it is. You can't bitch about it. Not really. I mean, that's the profession that you chose. And my whole thing about her is, if memory serves, I remember that episode she asked Britt could she leave work early. I remember that because she wasn't feeling well. Mind you, she was supposed to work a double. She admitted that she was the one who picked up that shift. So my whole thing is, why are you upset that you're working so much when you're the one running around picking up shifts? Tell them no. You have the option to say no. You don't have to take the shift if you don't want. She the one who chose to take it. So what are you upset about? It's totally ridiculous. And she was shocked when she found out from another nurse that her brother and Terry were on a date, were having drinks or whatever together. She was shocked. I'm like, her and Terry need to sit down and effectively communicate with each other like adults and figure this thing out. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like their little beef with each other is petty. I feel like it could easily be worked out with a simple conversation. At the end of the day, that's still your boss. You know what I'm saying? You work in the medical profession, you're gonna sometimes have to work extra. It is what it is. And usually they ask, can you work, an extra shift, or somebody called out, can you work this shift? You don't have to say yes. They can't really force you, to stay. Not in most cases, not in some cases they can. But if they give you that option, nobody said that you had to say yes. It's up to you. Honestly, I've been in those situations before where somebody called out and I was asked to either come in on my day off, or I was asked, "Oh, can you work a double?" I've been in those situations before. Have I said yes a lot? Yeah, I did, because you want to know why? I was thinking about the money. The extra money is always nice, but sometimes I didn't feel like it and I would say no. Like, shit, I ain't no work mute. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't always got to say yes. Oh, when you don't feel like it, say no. It is what it is. They can't penalize you for that. Hell, you got a life. You're a human being. Um, we don't run on fuel. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you gotta, take time out for yourself. And that's what Amy should do. Just put in a request for a little time off or whatever. Take a few days. Need be. It is what it is. Sometimes you have to do that. You know? Um, so anyway, moving on from that. TJ was kind of working my nerve a little bit today because He's sitting here all pouting or whatever because he feel like, well, Curtis ran his daddy out of town or whatever. I'm like, and I'm glad Curtis made that very clear. He said, listen, I'm not about to go look for Marshall. He said Marshall made the choice to leave town again. That was his choice. And I agree with Curtis on that. That was Marshall's choice. Nobody told him he had to go. He chose to leave. I'm totally on Curtis's side on this because this man has been out of Curtis's life for 40 years. Curtis don't know where this man has been. He don't know what he's been up to, who he's been dealing with. He don't know. So of course, if you're gonna come back into my life after all these years, and on top of that, he had no real answers for Curtis about where the hell he's been and what he's been doing. So of course you would be suspicious of that if your absentee parent or anybody from the past comes back into your life unexpectedly, after they just left without a trace, or you thought they were dead or whatever and they made you believe that, of course you want to know where the hell you been all these years and why did you leave. And when they don't give you real answers, of course you're going to be, distant with that person until you get those answers. I don't blame Curtis. I would have been the same exact way. And TJ should have he should have some understanding on that. TJ should understand where Curtis is coming from instead of, breathing down his neck like, listen, jumping down his throat like, well, I never got a chance to really get to know my grandfather. I was getting to know him. Well, that's your grandfather problem. He chose to leave. Nobody forced him out of town with a pitchfork. He packed his little raggedy duffel bag and he left. It is what it is. I'm glad Curtis said, listen, I'm not about to go look for his ass. He a grown man. He chose to leave. I'm not about to go look for him. So TJ talking about, well, I'm going to look for him. Do you? If you want to waste your time, your energy, and your money looking for his deadbeat ass, knock yourself out, son. Go look for him. That's on you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to deal with him. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm totally on Curtis's side on this. Listen, you go look for his tired ass. I'm not about to go do it. No, sir. Not in this day and age. He can get mad all he want to. TJ was like getting on my nerves a little bit. I understand, you was getting close to your granddad, you was getting to know him. I get it, but you got to understand the circumstances around it. It's like Curtis feels like he has people to protect, including TJ himself. So he could not possibly blindly allow this man into his life without knowing the full scope of what he was dealing with. You know what I mean? Anybody with some sense would have felt the same way. Like, what the hell did TJ expect Curtis to do when Marshall came back to town? Dad, give me a hug. Let's go get some Dairy Queens. Come on, Dad. Hell no. Wouldn't have been me. I would have been asking you a million different questions. Where you been? Who you been doing it with? You know what I mean? I would have been asking you everything under the sun. Anybody with some sense would have been asking some questions. It would have been odd if Curtis didn't ask questions. So I can't fault Curtis for that. Anyway, moving on from that. That conversation between Valentine and Carly was pretty interesting. Basically, Valentine wants Carly to throw out an olive branch or whatever to Nina and try to settle their differences and whatnot. In my honest opinion, it's not really up to Carly to settle this beef with her and Nina. It's not really, in my opinion. I don't see why she should or why she would. At the end of the day, Nina's a nutcase. You know, and the vibe that I got from Valentine, the way he was talking about Nina, made it sound like Nina was pretty much jealous. That's the way he was kind of putting it. Like, he's sitting there telling Carly, well, you got everything that she want. You got a husband. You got kids. Well, technically, she had a husband. You got kids. You got this. You got that. Talking about you even got the office space. You control the office space that Nina has. Sir, listen. Nina ought to be happy that she even still has a damn job. Because I'm still shocked that Michael and Drew haven't fired her ass yet. But I guess business is business. The reason that they're probably not firing Nina is because she, is still bringing in profits for Crimson. So I'm guessing that's why they're not firing her yet. But at the end of the day, I loved how Carly threw that out there. She was like, listen, you keep saying that, oh, I got everything Nina wants or whatever. I'm like, Carly said last she checked, Nina has her husband. I said, thank you. Thank you, Carly. I'm glad you said it because it's true. Like, there's plenty of people in that town that have what Nina has always wanted. A family. A husband, children, grandchildren. There's plenty of people that have that. That's not on Carly. How is this Carly's fault? You know what I mean? Like, At the end of the day, it is what it is. Um, let me tell you something about Nina. How I personally feel. Do I feel an ounce of remorse for her? Yes, because she was dealt a bad hand very early on in her life. You know, her mother overdosing her, pretty much like drugging her to the point where she's in a coma, taking her children away from her. You know that she didn't even know she had. Her husband cheated on her, got another chick pregnant. You know what I mean? Like she was dealt a bad hand and people try to use her. Even when she woke up from the coma, Rick Lansing tried to use her for money and stuff like that. That's what she's been dealing with most of her life is people trying to use her. I feel for her, but I also, on the one hand, agree with Carly. Get over it. People get knocked down every damn day of the week. Get your ass up and keep going. And in my opinion, Nina has carved out a nice life for herself. She has a very beautiful home. She runs a profitable magazine. She's editor in chief. She got money out the ass. You built a nice life for yourself. I understand she wants children and grandchildren. You have a child. You have a grandchild. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she never got to know Nell, but she's under the impression that, oh, if she would have got to know Nell, then maybe things would have been different. I doubt it. Uh, I doubt it. Nell still would have turned out to be nuts. Look at her mama. Hell, Nina is a few sandwiches short of a picnic her damn self. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's like Valentine sitting there talking about, oh, Nina don't have this, and she don't have as many supporters as you have, a support system like you. Valentine could have missed me with all that foolishness. At the end of the day, Nina's a grown woman. She got a couple of friends. She got defenders. Valentine is clearly a defender. It's not up to Carly to make peace with her. It's really, really not. It's not. And Carly was asking questions about Phyllis and if she was around when Nina gave birth, and Valentine was like, "Why you need to know that?" Because I agree with Carly on that of why she was asking that question. Because I feel like Phyllis had to have known. If Phyllis was her nurse during that time, she had to have known she was pregnant with twins. She had to have known that. How could she not have known? Unless Madeline hid that from her somehow, some way. But she had to have known that. You were her nurse. You were with her every day. You had access to paperwork and documentation. You had access to this stuff. How did you not know she was pregnant with twins? I would really like to know the answer to that. Did Phyllis know? And if so, why she never said anything? Was she paid handsomely or something? Like, I doubt it because she ain't got the money today, so must not have been paid too much. But I can understand why Carly was asking that question. I get it because I probably would have asked the same damn thing. But Valentine need to go sit down somewhere. Like I said, it ain't up to Carly to make peace with that woman. Um, Nina is still sitting here waging war, talking about, oh, Carly better hope that she's not in the line of fire. Carly lives rent free in that woman's head. I'm gonna tell you that right now. She really do. Cause Nina always trying to put something off on Carly all the time. Like then she's still blaming her for Nell's death. I'm like, that wasn't even Carly's fault. Carly actually tried to help Nell. She didn't push her off that ledge. She tried to get her hand. She tried to help her. She actually tried to save her ass. So Nina just believe whatever delusions Nina wants to believe at this point. Um, I can understand Nina wanting to be a part of Wiley's life, but Nina is responsible for all of this stuff. She's responsible for not being a part of Wiley's life. It's her decisions that causes this. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have to file a petition. She didn't have to go for visitation. She could have handled it correctly. She could have talked to Michael and Willow peacefully and try to resolve it. She never really tried to do that. She tried to get other people to do it for her. And that to me don't count. That to me, I'm being honest, that don't count. Like if you're trying to get intermediates or go-betweens to talk on your behalf, I wouldn't entertain it. I want to hear from the person, not your defenders. I want to hear from you. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I operate. Don't sit here and send me no middleman. I want you. I want the person. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I do things. Um, but yeah, Nina just nuts. I don't even know why she's so surprised that Smoltz is even asking Ava questions and stuff like that. I'm like, and I agree with Ava because Ava made it very clear. She said, listen, all this stuff is public knowledge anyway. I said, exactly. her ripping the baby out of Ava's vajayjay and stuff, that's all public. It ain't like it's new information. Like the public didn't know about this. It's been out there for years since it happened. So Nina, calm down. Ain't no need for you to be getting all into a tizzy. It was funny though because Ava was telling Nina like, "Oh, what if Sonny married you and stuff like that? You and Michael are gonna, that's gonna be your stepchild." Nina didn't give a damn. Nina said, "Listen, even if that were to happen, I still wouldn't give a damn." That was funny. I will give Nina that because that was funny. 'Cause I totally get where she coming from. Like, I wouldn't probably give a shit either. Y'all still gonna be at each other's throats, so it's like, what's the point? Um, so anyway, moving on from that, I totally agree with Cameron on this. Like, whatever plan Spencer has, he need to move that shit along because it's moving slow. I'm like, Spencer, what is up with this plan to bust Esme? Because your timeline is just, it sucks. Like, you haven't made no headway into getting the goods on this girl yet. But I mean, I get it because Esme is like a cockroach. The heifer is always around. Like, she always lurking somewhere. Um, it's like Spencer. I have to agree with Cam. Spencer's gonna need some help on this because one person cannot take this girl down. She's too damn smart for it. She's crafty. You need a village. I agree with Cam on that. But however, I do agree with Spencer on not telling Jocelyn. I do agree with him on that because she's like mother, like daughter. Jocelyn is hot headed as all get out. She would probably blow this whole damn thing up. So I totally get why Spencer is not doing this. But I'm glad Cam let him go because he was like, listen, go home, snoop through her shit while she going to yoga or whatever. Go snoop. Like we need the dirt on her. So he did, while she was out. He went over there and he was snapping pictures and all that stuff for her room, and he found something in the closet because she was up in her room earlier reading a letter from her nanny or whatever, Maggie or whatnot. Because Maggie pretty much has been adamant about her not trying to get to know her biological father, which I guess is Ryan. They got a creepy ass relationship. I ain't even gonna lie, that's nuts. But Esme is up to something. Like this girl has an end game. My guess is it involves a lot of Cassadine funds, because I wouldn't be surprised if she tried to get some money out of him. Because even Spencer mentioned how she keeps trying to have sex with him. I said, of course. Esme's not stupid. Of course, Esme trying to get down with him because she hoping that this time around she can get pregnant. That's her ace. That's her ace. You know what I'm saying? That's her backup plan. I mean, if she get knocked up by a Cassadine heir, is money in it for her. A lot of it. Either they're gonna try to pay her a lot of money to get rid of it, or that child is her golden goose. Either way, she gonna get paid. So I can't blame her for that. I mean, the girl is crafty. Like Spencer is gonna need some more help. I don't think he can pull this off himself. It's a tough thing to do. So anyway, moving on from that, um, I love the scene between Rory, Jocelyn, and Trina. Like the way they be looking at each other, you could just see the chemistry. I mean, we still don't know a whole lot about Rory, but I like the chemistry between them. And Jocelyn is feeling it too, because Jocelyn was dead set on getting them together. Even though technically they can't be talking with each other because it's against the rules, because she's, a part of an active investigation and he's a cop, so it blurs the line. And of course, Esme was lurking around the corner with her little giddy self smiling, eavesdropping on the conversations and stuff. I'm like, Esme, don't you got something better to go do? Like, she is like a whole walking Lifetime movie. Stalked by my ex, or stalked by my girlfriend, or stalked by a psycho. Like, I could just go on and on. Just stalk. That's all she is a stalker. Just psychotic. But yeah, I like the chemistry between Rory and Trina and stuff. And he believes in her innocence. He was like, listen, Trina was talking about if I get off from these charges. He said, no, when you get off. Like, he's confident. Um, I hope he a good guy. I really do, because I like the chemistry between them. I hope we learn more about him though. Like they're bringing on some good people. We got him. We got Dex. I said this is what I'm talking about. Bring them all on. Bring them on. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Mark Teschner. Mark Teschner has been the casting director for GH for what 20 plus years, 30 years or something like that. That man don't miss when he casts people. I'm just saying he know what he be doing. Uh, he know how to cast some good people. I ain't gonna lie. Like I don't think he cast anybody honestly that I don't think fit a role. Like he really do cast some good actors or potentially good actors. Like he definitely know how to cast. They have the look. You know what I mean? Like he know what he doing over there. But yeah, I agree with Jocelyn. Like, it's time for Trina to get out from under Spencer at this point. It's like, why keep dealing with that foolishness? Um, for what? You know, move on from that. Get away from him. Because in my opinion, Spencer is a boy. He's a little boy. Trina, you know, at some point you're gonna want a man, not a boy. I'm just saying, like, get you a man, not some little Ken doll. Um, so of course Esme pops up at Kelly's like the boogeyman herself. And Spencer knew she was gonna pop up there. He knew it because he told Cameron. He said, "Watch, she gonna once she done with yoga, she gonna come right on through here." Cause she always lurking, like she's predictable in that way. Like you just know where she gonna be. Like she, anywhere Spencer is, she gonna be. That's just what it is. And I'm glad Cameron stalled her and stuff to give Spencer some more time to dig around in her room. Um, and of course she came up that little phony ass act that she normally come up with. Oh, you know, I feel so alone. You know how she do, her little manipulative self. And I love how Cameron was throwing subliminals out there. He was like, you know, I'm gonna treat you how you deserve. I love it. And of course, when she hugged him, Jocelyn comes up in there acting like a hothead. Oh, get your hands off my boyfriend. Jocelyn, calm down. Calm it down. Relax. You know, you should know by now Cam don't want her. Relax yourself. Yeah, so that was pretty much the whole episode. I enjoyed it. It was fun for what it was. Hit the comment section, let me know what you all thought. And I will see you all later. Have a wonderful day. Peace.